Question is, do you as a Jamaican support Donald Trump? Everybody comment and tell me. Get this video to 1,000 likes. It's Gratitude Thursday. Share the video, my people. Subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to do too much talking. Listen to this.
Global trade is based on the idea that goods are generally produced where they use up the fewest resources, so they are cheapest to produce. And if everybody participates in that, then global production is most efficient and therefore the most output from the world's resources. So when you start to put barriers in place to make it not possible to take advantage of that, then what is going to happen is global trade is going to diminish and therefore global productivity is going to diminish. So the world is going to have a smaller output of goods and services to divide amongst itself. So we are going to see a global recession. We're certainly going to see a recession in the US, and we are going to see a global recession, and that means, a small open economy like Jamaica is going to feel the consequences of that, regardless of whether we get 10% more tariffs or not. So let's take, for example, his tariffs on cars and his overall tariffs. What Trump wants to do is to move manufacturing back to the US. But the reason why manufacturing left the US in the first place is because the US is not an efficient place. It is not a low-cost place to do manufacturing because wages are high. Because people in the US, they are higher skilled and they can create greater value added by applying their skill to more value added parts of the production process. So the lower value added part, which is putting the things together, the manufacturing, moves somewhere else. By forcing that manufacturing back into the US, manufacturing is now going to be produced at a higher cost in the US. And so therefore, resources are going to move from higher value added parts of the supply chain to lower value added parts, which is screwing things together. Anybody can screw things together. That don't take high skill. Tariffs are not paid for by foreign countries. Tariffs are paid for by the consumer in the country that's doing the importing. So that's going to come as a shock to him. The second myth is that he thinks that tariffs attract investment. No, what tariffs do is it shifts investment from where the country has a comparative advantage to where it is less efficient. So it doesn't net increase foreign investment. And the third myth is that low tariffs are a favor that you do to other countries that then take advantage of you by sending goods to you. And again, that is also not correct. Low tariffs are a way for the country, the domestic country, to take advantage of other countries' natural advantages. This step in deglobalization is going to lead to a global recession. Then the US is going to contract the most, but other countries are going to contract as well. And it means that they are going to be buying less of all of our exports no matter where they are going.
Alright, excuse the noise everybody. Road work are go on. It is out of my control. So just bear with me. Everybody drop a like on the video and tell me as a Jamaican if you support Donald Trump. Obviously, yes, the United States Secretary Marco Rubio made his way to Jamaica a few weeks ago, and it was the discussion or the topic of discussion what Andrew Holness would choose if it was US or it was Cuba. Okay, now of course, to many persons' surprise, the discussion was being had. Now Jamaica to the United States receive high praise, say that we're like-minded. Okay, and of course the discussion will continue about the relationship and the medical policy that Trump has ordered CARICOM nations to sever ties with Cuban medical policy. Okay, Marco Rubio is set to continue the conversation. Now Andrew Holness made it clear that because of the deficit of doctors in Jamaica, he is going to continue to use medical doctors. Now Christopher Tufton made it clear in news recently that there are some doctors on their way home, and also another important factor is that they're in review talks of the memorandum of understanding. Now this conversation now comes because everybody is now saying, see there is a strong relationship between Jamaica and the United States, and to me personally, I would say what Trump wants, Trump gets. And it seems as if that many persons would say that we're on the right side of the fence as it relates to Cuba and the United States and Jamaica. You understand? At least that's what every person thought. Everything did cool and simmer down. That is until that Donald Trump now announced that he's going to slap tariffs on Jamaica. Yes, tariffs will be slapped on Jamaica. Now Trump is going to slap a 10% tariff on Jamaica. You understand? Yes. What does that mean? I'm going to tell you what exactly the meaning of that. We are now in the group of countries that will now pay tariffs to the United States. Yeah, Jamaica is not exempted from it. And here I was thinking all this time that we were like-minded. Here I was all this time thinking that Jamaica and Donald Trump and the US did good. We did close. I guess not. Now we have to go become tariff people. We are now becoming this list of countries within Donald Trump's range are outlined in the charting that we now have to pay a tariff. Yeah, Jamaica has been slapped with a 10% tariff by Donald Trump and the United States. Let's get into it. US President Donald Trump announced on April 2nd, which is yesterday, a 10% tariff on exports from most Caribbean countries, which includes Jamaica, to the American market. Yes, we're not exempted from it. Listen me, I said that this should have been a more stern approach from the Prime Minister, because I said to you, it is almost prophetic that I am going to say that now it looks like whenever Trump have a problem, we have got answer to it. And see it there. If the Cuban medical policy was one of them, enough other things are going to come. And is it going to be a case that we have to provide an audience to Donald Trump or any member of his representative, member of parliament or cabinet, wherever you want to call it, them come to Jamaica, come speak about it? The Prime Minister was never firm on his stance, and that is what I think. Now, this goes now to show that we have been slapped with a tariff. Now, the decision unveiled during a White House media conference, it is a part of a broader move to impose reciprocal tariffs on countries that tax US imports. Now, the tariff applies to several Caribbean nations, including St. Lucia, the Dominican Republic, Trinidad and Tobago, Bahamas, Grenada, St. Kitts, Guyana, Haiti, St. Martin, Suriname, Belize, British Virgin Islands, Barbados, Cayman, Curacao, Bermuda, Turks and Caicos, Aruba, St. Vincent, Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Dominica, Anguilla, and Antigua. I run out of breath. I call the name them. We are now ordered to pay 10% tariff on US imports. What does that mean? You just hear a while ago. Right? Now they are now saying that, of course, this new measure that we now have been slapped with a 10% tariff will, of course, affect tourism in Jamaica, and we will be impacted negatively, because that means that local producers that export to the United States, farmers including, will have to now pay more. And not only that, the cost of living to many persons overseas, which are Jamaicans and Caribbean persons, will go up. That means we'll have to dig out in our pocket more. Donald Trump decide that. Drop in the comment section and tell me if you support him as a Jamaican. Donald Trump, that is. Anyway, each of these nations will now face the same 10% levy on goods entering the US. In other words, persons importing goods from other countries into the US will pay, or will have to pay. Jamaicans will have to pay the tariff. Have to. It is a must. Okay? Now, the White House justified the tariff as a reciprocal measure in response to the 10% duty that Jamaica and other Caribbean nations impose on the US. Now, Caribbean nations, many of which depend on the US for their primary trade partner, could face economic strain due to the new tariff. Businesses that export products like rum, coffee, seafood, and other manufactured goods to the US will have to factor in additional costs for importers, potentially reducing the competitiveness. As much as them say we're like-minded, high praise. And listen, I say it before, I'm going to say it again. The Cuban medical policy was not going to be the only issue that Donald Trump find. He might go find something else, and we have to go come up with something else, and bro God have to go say something else. Michael Manley said he would rather walk in this world on his feet than walking on his knees. Drop a like on the video, share the video, more to come. Stay tuned, don't go nowhere. Gratitude Thursdays continues. So forward.